Hey everybody, welcome to week 2. Thank you for all of your introductions and questions last week. It is great to meet our new students and also wonderful to see some of the students that I had from the summer. So I'm excited for our class. One thing I wanted to remind you of is that we do have a consistent schedule throughout the semester, that you will have due dates on Thursdays and Sundays every week. So Thursdays by 11:59 p.m. and Sundays by 11:59 p.m. So make sure you're planning your weeks to accommodate those due dates. I will open the week the Friday night before that week begins. I know some people need to use the weekends to get ahead on their schoolwork, so I will open the following week's work on the Friday night before that week actually begins. So hopefully that helps a few people out. So let's jump into Unit 1, which is going to be introducing arguments. So our entire semester is focused on how to craft a well-researched academic argument. But before we just jump right into doing that, we actually need to step back a few steps and break down the components of effective argument. And one of the very first components of an effective argument is introducing what's been said on that topic already. What's the research out there? What's the background? What's the history? What are the necessary definitions your audience needs to know before you actually dig into the argument and start engaging in that argument? And so our first paper is all about how we introduce our arguments with the background and the history and the necessary definitions. So in week 2, you will see the Essay 1 assignment here, introducing arguments. Please read this very, 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 very carefully. Some students struggle because they hear, oh, argument paper, I've done one of these before, and they just jump right in, they pick a side, they craft an argument, and they've never actually stepped back to the steps that need to be taken before they can jump into the argument. To be a credible voice in an argument, you have to show, you have to reflect that you understand what this argument is about and what the current argument and conversation is. Okay, otherwise you just jump in and it sounds more like an opinion. So read this carefully and also review it often during your writing process to make sure you're staying on track and meeting the requirements of the assignment. Okay, you will see that this week's discussion board has to do with the topic or topics you would like to explore this semester. So because we're going to break up our different essays are different components, at the end you'll put all those components together and actually craft the full argument. I would highly recommend choosing a topic at the beginning that you would like to explore and research and write about for the entire semester. It's not required, but it will make your life a lot easier, because what you'll see is that you'll be building to that final paper the entire time. All of your work this semester will come together at the end like that. So that's what our first discussion board is about, and it asks you to perform some initial research before you post there. So today's video, I wanted to give you a quick primer on how to do academic research. And I'm going to give you 3 main ways to do this. This is going to be Google Advanced Search, Google Scholar, and CEI library databases. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this. First thing I'm going to do is go to google.com. Most of us are pretty familiar with this search engine. I'm going to search Advanced Search, and you will find the Advanced Search option here. Now, this is a great resource. I have many students come back and tell me they've used this within days for something outside of school. So hopefully you find this helpful for your academic research as well as life in general. So I am going to pick a topic. Let's say the thing I'm interested in debating is standardized testing. So I am going to type in standardized testing here. and I can limit it even further, but for now I'm fine with just standardized testing. You can see all the different ways I can narrow my results by. The one that I'm most concerned about here is site or domain, all right? Because we've got .coms, .orgs, .edus, and .govs. And for academic research, my best places to look are going to be .edu and .gov. Okay, I'm going to start with .edu. You'll see that you can also search by last updated, regions, things like that. But right now, I'm most worried about finding those EDU sites. Okay, so you will see it has brought up results from schools. Okay, Princeton, NYU, Lehigh, we could keep going down here, Yale, Hamilton. All right, a lot of this is about admissions, interestingly enough, but here, history of standardized testing. Wow, this looks like a perfect source for this first paper, which is introducing the background or history of the argument. All right, so I'm going to click on that. I've got a history of standardized testing article. I don't necessarily need to read all of this right now, but I know that I potentially have a great resource right here. So I'm going to want to bookmark this page or save it somewhere for myself to find it again. All right, so go back again and say I just want to try this as a .gov and see what comes up. That's another option here. So U.S. Department of Education might also have some good sources for me as well in this conversation. So that is Google Advanced Search. All right, now let's give a try for Google Scholar. Some folks are familiar with Google Scholar. So I'm going to go here and go ahead and type my search term again. Now, one thing to realize about search terms is that there may be good information out there, but I'm not using the right terms to search for it. And so I had a student last semester who was working on corporal punishment. And really, she was thinking about should parents spank children. Okay, but she wasn't using the word spanking, she was using corporal punishment. And so I had recommended that maybe she just try spanking. And it brought up completely different sources for her. So realize that you may need to play with these search terms a little bit to really hone in on the ones that's going to bring the best results. All right, standardized testing. So here, I'm going to find quite a bit, I bet, on standardized testing. The thing about Google Scholar is we only have access to it if it has the little PDF or link on this side. So here's the case against standardized testing. So clearly one side to that argument. A lot of books here. Here's another one. PDF right here, standardized testing and its victims. So all of these other ones may look really great, but if I don't have that little link on the right-hand side, I don't have access to them through Google Scholar. You may end up having access to them through our CEI library. Okay, so if you find one where you see the title and the little bit of information provided and you're like, I've got to get that article, it's going to be perfect for me, I would reach out to our CEI librarian, our library, and see if we can get access to that article or that source for you. Okay, so if I was interested in this one, I could click on the PDF right here. It's going to bring it up for me. I would probably save that to skim it, see if it seems like it could be a good fit, and save that to my computer. Okay, so that is Google Scholar, another source for academic research. The last one I want to show you is our CEI library. Okay, so I've just gone to cei.edu. I am going to just type in library and get to our library page. And over on the left-hand side, you'll see database searches. All right, so the database, there's a number of databases. There are collections of books and articles and all types of sources. So for our work, The two that you're going to most likely be using are EBSCO, and for this first one, you may be using the reference library because, again, we're looking very surface level. What is the history and background of this argument, and not necessarily digging into the argument itself yet. So if you happen to pick a medical topic, PubMed would be a good database for that one. So let's go ahead and go into EBSCO. If you are, let's see if I can get in here. If you are off campus, which I'm guessing most of you are since you're online, you will be asked for your login information. And it doesn't work. So I'm going to pause this here for a second and get me in real quick. Okay, got it. It is not your own personal information to get in here. Your user ID off campus to access the databases is going to be EITC, and the password is library. Okay, to access the databases off campus, the user ID is EITC, the password is library. All right, so that will get us in. Once we're in here, we're going to see a lot of different opportunities or ways to explore here. All right, so I'm going to go to EBSCO host databases at the top. And again, I'm going to be offered a lot of choices. The ones that I'm going to suggest for the most generalized research are Academic Search Premier and Master File Premier. Okay, so I'm going to check those. Those are the two specific databases I would like to search. I'm going to hit continue, and then I'm going to type in my search terms of standardized testing. You see actually all the, you'll see when I start to type in standardized test, it actually gives me some other options for search terms. Okay, so standardized testing, standardized tests, which is actually what I've been using. All right, so that may give you some other ideas as well. All right, so now I am going to be brought to a series of articles here. Again, I'm going to look through, I'm going to skim and see what looks like the most relevant to the research I need to do. I don't need to really dig deep right now. I'm doing my initial research, just seeing what's out there on the topic and how I might narrow my topic in. Even standardized testing is a rather large topic, so how would I want to create a smaller focus on that? Okay, you'll want to be looking for sources that have the PDF full text here as well. Some other things to realize: on the left-hand bar, you have other ways to limit to full text, which is a great one to use because it means that only the ones that we have access to will be brought up. Now it's updating for me. I also want to just find sources that are in scholarly journals. Okay, so I'm going to check that one. It's updating it again for me. And you'll see this is another great one, especially if you're doing a scientific topic where time is really important. You want the most up-to-date sources, at least as you dig deeper into the conversation. You can actually choose the publication date as well. For this first paper, introducing the argument and looking at the history and background, it's okay that I have a really large time frame because I want to go back and find out what is really the scope of this argument over time. All right, so again, quick review. We used Google Advanced Search, we used Google Scholar, and we used our CEI database search. So those are the three primary ways to perform academic research. Now, just because you found an article that way does not guarantee that we've found a great academic source. We'll talk more about evaluating sources as well as APA and MLA format next week. So that should get you started on your initial research and posting to your discussion board. There's also a reading and quiz this week. So if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you online.